The galaxy had never been quiet, but for Captain Alara Vance, the silence of the outer rim was almost comforting. She stood on the observation deck of the Aurora's Edge, the sleek interstellar freighter she had commanded for the past 5 years. Beyond the reinforced glass, stars stretched into infinity, distant suns glimmering like scattered diamonds on black velvet. The cargo hold was heavy with rare crystals from the asteroid mines of Karath 5, and the crew's chatter below was subdued, an unusual calm that made her uneasy. Alara had always been a believer in instincts, and tonight her gut told her something was wrong. A faint shimmer on the edge of the star chart caught her eye. She frowned. It wasn't a navigation marker. It was movement. Fast. Calculated. Almost predatory. "Captain," came a voice from behind. Lieutenant Wren, her second in command, stepped onto the deck. His expression mirrored her concern. "Sensors are picking up an unidentified vessel. Fast, sleek, and armed. It's too small to be a patrol craft." Alara's jaw tightened. "Pirates." Her voice was almost a whisper, but it carried a weight of certainty that made Wren nod. "Do we have time to evade?" he asked, already anticipating her answer. "Not if they've been tracking us this far." Her eyes narrowed. "Prepare for boarding protocols." Minutes later, the Aurora's Edge shuddered violently as an energy pulse struck the hull. Red lights bathed the corridors. Alarms screamed. "Boarders!" Alara shouted. She drew her sidearm, her boots clanging on the metal deck as she raced toward the airlock. The pirates were efficient, trained, and ruthless. They moved through the ship like a shadow storm, cutting down security drones and firing plasma rifles with deadly precision. Alara's crew fought back, but it was clear they were outnumbered and outgunned. And then the unthinkable happened. From the cargo bay, where a shipment of rare crystals had been stored, a scream pierced the chaos. Alara's stomach dropped. It was Leora, the ship's chief engineer, and one of her closest friends. "Captain, help!" Leora's voice was swallowed by the roar of the pirate assault, but Alara could make out the desperation behind it. She charged through the smoke-filled corridors, dodging blaster fire, until she reached the bay. There, she saw her worst nightmare realized. A group of pirates had captured Leora, dragging her toward an extraction pod that shimmered with energy fields designed to nullify the ship's defensive systems. "Get off her!" Alara yelled, firing at the pirates, but they were quick, brutal, and clearly prepared for her interference. With a final heave, Leora was pushed into the pod, the door sealing with a hiss as the vessel disengaged from the Aurora's Edge. Alara's scream was lost in the chaos, but her resolve was not. "They won't get away with this," she muttered, her hand gripping the railing until her knuckles whitened. 2 hours later, the Aurora's Edge limped through the outer rim, systems damaged, crew shaken but alive. Alara stood over the ship's tactical display, tracing the path of the pirate vessel through the stellar map. "Where did they go?" Wren asked, leaning over her shoulder. "They've headed to the Nebula Cluster," Alara said grimly. "The pirates' haven. No law reaches that far. It's a death trap for anyone who enters without the proper code or firepower." Wren swallowed hard. "So, what's the plan, Captain?" Alara's eyes burned with determination. "We don't negotiate with pirates. And we don't wait for the law to save our friends. We go in. I go in. And I bring Leora back." Wren hesitated. "It's suicide. You're only one person." Alara turned, her expression steely. "I'm not alone. I have the Aurora's Edge. I have the best crew in this quadrant. And I have something the pirates don't, a reason they can't understand. They've taken more than just cargo. They've taken family." The Nebula Cluster was a violent storm of cosmic dust, ionized gases, and rogue asteroids. Navigation was treacherous, and the pirates' fortress floated like a phantom, cloaked in swirling violet clouds. Alara piloted the ship with precision, her hands dancing over controls as the Aurora's edge weaved between debris fields, evading automatic turrets and minefields. As they approached the fortress, the pirate vessel revealed itself in full. It was colossal, an armada of dark steel and jagged weaponry, bristling with energy cannons. Alara's stomach churned, but she did not falter. "Brace for impact," she ordered, eyes fixed on the target. The battle began with ferocity. Energy beams sliced through the nebula, casting eerie shadows across the ship. Crew members fired from the hull, using grappling hooks and boarding pods to engage pirates in close combat. Explosions rocked the deck, and the smell of ozone filled the air. Amid the chaos, Alara activated the ship's experimental cloaking device, a risky maneuver that would allow her to slip past the main defenses undetected. The Aurora's edge vanished into the violet clouds, ghosting toward the fortress like a phantom. Inside, the fortress was a labyrinth of corridors, illuminated by flickering red lights and the occasional glow of plasma panels. Alara moved with purpose, stealth over speed, taking down pirates silently whenever possible. Finally, she reached the extraction pod. Leora was inside, bound by energy restraints, her eyes wide with fear and relief. "Alara," she whispered, tears streaking her face. "Hold on," Alara said. With a deft flick of her wrist, she disengaged the pod's locking mechanism. The restraints melted away, but freedom came at a price. Alarms blared. The pirates had detected the intrusion. Elite guards poured into the chamber, weapons raised. Alara's heart raced. She knew she couldn't take them all head-on. And then she remembered the prototype weapon she had hidden in her satchel, a device that could emit a pulse disabling electronics in a radius. If timed correctly, it could give them the window they needed to escape. "Now, Leora," she shouted. She activated the pulse. Energy surged outward, frying electronics and sending the guards into disarray. They ducked, groaning as their weapons fizzled. "Alara, go!" Leora yelled. They ran, weaving through corridors as the fortress's systems collapsed around them. Energy shields flickered and died, and the ship's main gates opened to receive them. Back aboard the Aurora's edge, engines roaring, they escaped into the safety of the nebula. Leora collapsed into Alara's arms, shaking. "You came for me," she whispered, voice trembling. Alara held her close. "I'll always come for you. No one takes my crew without paying the price." Bryn entered, surveying the damage. "Captain, that was insane. How did you do it?" Alara smirked, though exhaustion weighed heavily on her. "I did what anyone would do for family." The pirates' fortress erupted behind them, a distant fireball swallowed by the nebula's chaos. It was a small victory in a galaxy that had little justice, but it was theirs. Alara turned back to the stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and often cruel. But she knew one thing with absolute certainty: human ingenuity, courage, and loyalty could overcome even the deadliest threats. And as long as she had her crew and her resolve, no pirate, no warlord, no shadow from the edge of space could ever claim victory over her. Because in a universe of countless worlds, countless threats, and countless dangers, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology, or ships, or weapons. It was the heart that refused to give up. And Captain Alara Vance's heart never would. Back aboard the Aurora's edge, engines roaring, Alara and Leora collapsed into the observation deck, panting and trembling. The nebula's violet clouds glowed eerily outside, painting the cabin in shifting shades of light. "You came for me," Leora whispered, her voice breaking, eyes still wide with fear. Alara held her close. Of course I did. No one takes my crew without paying the price. Her voice was calm, steady, but beneath it lay the fire of every sleepless night, every battle, and every decision she had ever made. Ren entered, scanning the damage with a mixture of awe and disbelief. Captain, that was insane. We barely got out of there alive. How did you do it? Alara allowed herself a tired smirk, brushing Leora's hair back from her face. Simple. I didn't just fight for victory. I fought for family. That's something the pirates will never understand. Leora shook her head, still trying to catch her breath. I never imagined humans. I knew humans were resourceful. But this, her voice trailed off, awe filling her words. Alara stood, scanning the star-filled horizon. They'll rebuild. They'll come back. Pirates always do. But so will we. And every time they do, they'll find that humanity doesn't give up. Not our crew. Not our friends. Not our people. Not ever. A moment of silence fell over the deck as the crew, battered and bruised, regrouped. Their faces told a story of fear, exhaustion, and yet determination. They had seen death at the edge of the galaxy and survived, not through superior technology, but through courage, cleverness, and loyalty. Run broke the silence. Captain, you've set a standard. I've never seen anything like it. Alara's gaze softened. I didn't do it for recognition, Ren. I did it because it was the only option. Humanity's strength isn't in waiting for someone else to save us. It's in taking the impossible chance, in standing tall when the universe tells us we can't. That's what makes us unstoppable. Leora, now recovering, walked to the controls. You're right, Alara. I saw it firsthand. They underestimated humans. They thought we were predictable, but we're not. We improvise, we endure, and we fight, even when hope seems lost. Alara placed a hand on the console, feeling the vibrations of the engines beneath her fingertips. And that's exactly why we'll survive. No matter what the galaxy throws at us. Every pirate, every warlord, every shadow from the edge of space, they all forget one thing. Humans never quit. And neither do I. Outside, the remnants of the pirate fortress were swallowed by the nebula, a fiery spectacle that illuminated the edges of space. The explosion sent shockwaves rippling through the clouds, a reminder of the chaos they had survived and the danger that still lurked in the galaxy. But for the crew of the Aurora's Edge, the fear had been replaced by something stronger: respect for the human spirit, belief in each other, and the knowledge that even in the darkest corners of the universe, courage and loyalty could triumph over cruelty. Alara turned to her crew, her eyes blazing with determination. Plot a course for the nearest safe port. We're going home. And when we get there, we'll make sure that every human out there knows something the pirates will never forget. No matter how strong, how clever, how ruthless they think they are, we are stronger. We are smarter. We fight for each other. And we never, ever leave anyone behind. The crew cheered, a sound that echoed through the corridors like the heartbeat of the ship itself. It was a sound of triumph, of survival, and of human resilience. Alara returned to the observation deck, standing at the window, gazing at the infinite stars. Somewhere out there, Leora's captors were licking their wounds, plotting revenge. Somewhere out there, other threats waited in the void, testing the courage of those who dared to explore the galaxy. But Captain Alara Vance didn't flinch. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and often cruel, but it had never faced the full measure of human ingenuity, courage, and heart. And as long as she had her crew, her ship, and her resolve, no force could ever claim victory over them. Because in a universe of endless darkness and infinite stars, humanity's brightest light was its willingness to fight, endure, and protect what mattered most. And Captain Alara Vance, scarred but unbroken, would always be that light. The Aurora's edge surged forward, engines blazing, cutting a path through the stars. Behind them, the nebula swallowed the remnants of their foes, but ahead lay a future forged by courage, loyalty, and the unshakable spirit of humanity. And in that vast expanse, one truth remained clear. When humans set their minds to it, no force in the galaxy, pirates, warlords, or cosmic anomalies could ever claim victory. Not while they fought together. Not while they refused to quit. Not while they believed in each other. Alara's hand rested on the railing, and a small, proud smile touched her lips. The stars stretched out before her, endless and promising. She had saved her friend. She had survived the impossible. And she knew, without a shadow of doubt, that humanity would continue to rise, no matter what the universe threw at them. Because humans fight, humans endure, humans win. And Captain Alara Vance would never, ever forget that truth.